Hello, welcome to Line War. Today we have Orbnet versus Valithor. Both of them starting really close together, trying to claim the central area. There was a blacklist at the beginning of this. Valithor has gone straight into 3 factories, and he's got some barracks down here, partly to expand, I would have thought. Except for he's got some commandos. I think he's going to try and sneak in for some scouting there. We have an airfield from Orbnet with 2 factories to protect it. Got a barracks coming down here to help him expand and get that economy going. Valithor is bringing his units up through the north here. And Orbnet looks like he's tried to claim both these choke points here so that he can claim a lot of this land. And try to stop Valithor from getting anywhere further into it. Which would mean Valithor is stuck in this area only until he comes down here. So far we've got Valithor bringing them up into circle commands so that they line up a bit nicer. He's going into the forest a little bit there to hide his units a bit. He's building another factory over here. He's decided not to expand up here and instead to stop Valithor. Or at least to try to, anyway. So I think Valithor's going to actually win this top engagement over here. But whether that will carry on through the rest of the match, I don't know. Because Valithor's going to have to deal with some air units pretty soon. Both players do have energy as well. Just to point that out, both players will be able to supply their energy requiring units. There's one helicopter done. Valithor is bringing in his artillery over here, so he's got some being produced now. He's got 3 in total, 3 producing at a time. He has not forgotten to expand, but he's also got his commandos coming out, so that is Valithor's first play, really. And you can see he spotted the helicopter. He's switching in his SAM units to come out now. I think Orbnet probably should have kept that helicopter back a bit. I wouldn't have used it so early on, just to keep it behind and then bring him out in a bit bigger of a force. Surprise the enemy a bit, because obviously he was going straight into artillery, having more helicopters with no SAM to defend against. Might have been a bit better in the future, but to be fair, Orbnet's probably a better player than I am, so I'm not going to question him too much on that. He has managed to pull back, actually, so he's managed to fight off Valithor in the north area, which I thought he was going to lose. Mostly due to Valithor having superior numbers there, but he's bringing his artillery over now for support, and Valithor is pretty much retreating here. He's expanded this line, so these 3 units will come as more of a flat line against them. Got 2 here because there's 2 units there. These commandos have spotted a small troop of units coming through in this section of the map and haven't been spotted by the looks of it, so those commandos were able to get away without being seen. And maybe they were spotted just for a second and we've missed it, and that's why he's going up this way. I'm not sure. But those helicopters are going to be able to put a lot of pressure on Valithor really early on in this game. Probably able to kick him out of this area for a little bit, but maybe Valithor's got enough SAM units coming in. And so far, both players will check their economy now because neither player has forgotten to expand. But they have been stalling each other quite a lot here. And it looks like that helicopter's not going to go down, I don't think. He's going to survive this hit. So, the economy from Orbnet is 340 per minute. And from Valithor is 220, so Orbnet is slightly ahead. But this early in the game, it doesn't matter too much. And despite his best efforts, it looks like Valithor has been denied access with his commandos. Apart from here, he managed to get in, but he's not able to get through anymore. Unfortunately for Valithor, things are not quite going his way so far, but he is holding his own pretty well in this. The helicopters won't be able to do too much damage in the future here. But Valithor's got to remember he's got 2 areas to go through, so he's still going to send his commandos in this way for scouting as well. But that one's not going to survive this little attack here. He's on his own there. Let's have a look at Orbnet. Orbnet's still trying to expand, and he's only using the infantry here to expand, so no artillery is going to go this way. He's going to keep his full force up in the north. And Orbnet was obviously expecting some air units in this game eventually, so he's gone with some SAM units to start with, but that might actually put him behind if Valithor doesn't ever choose to go into air units. So it looks like Orbnet is bringing some artillery down here, which I mean Valithor's going to have to spread his units out a bit more, create a bit more of a balance here. I think Valithor is expanding this area a lot faster though, so have a look there. He's at 390 now. The Orbnet is at 416, so Orbnet is still expanding faster, or at least it's got a bigger income. I'd say that's probably due to taking over most of this area, as well as taking over the land behind him. So it looks like we're going to have artillery versus artillery for a while. Got SAM units across the ocean, so they're protected here pretty much. So the helicopters can't really come over without these being able to respond pretty fast. This is a very good positioning for those SAM units. It does seem like Orbnet is going to be able to push round through both sides here. At least applying enough pressure onto Valithor. Valithor does have the advantage here. He does have more artillery already at the front line here, so they're going to start being able to take out Orbnet. Orbnet knows this, so he's bringing back his units so they can build up in numbers a bit faster. And it looks like Orbnet's knowing about his energy issues, and he's still building his helicopters because he's going to have energy soon anyway. So he's not concerned about energy in the future. Orbnet set up a line, so he's going to probably try and push forward with this just as a line, literally, instead of trying to move them like these lines. With artillery, it's actually not a bad idea. I don't know if he is going to do it. I'm just assuming here. Whereas on this side, he's doing a different strategy. He is going to push with his lines. And he's got his helicopters coming in. So these SAM's going to have to come back down here now. And Valithor is holding his units back a bit. So he's keeping these guys here for a while. He's letting them build up, hoping that he can take on this group here eventually, I assume. He does have an airfield building though, and he's going to build strikers over here. So that's something going on over there. He is nearly maxed out his land territory here, I suppose. I mean, he can always go around here, which will be interesting when he gets there. It might be a good reason why he's put this here. It's in the forest, so it's stealth, but it also will be able to support him when he comes to this area of the fight. He hasn't got any energy wells set up yet, so he will have to worry about that soon. Something he's going to have to invest in. And his commando is just trying to attack through this. It's not really going to work, I don't think. But I'm not sure why he did that, so... There we go. So Orbnet has a barracks up here, just a bit out of the way. Now that it's safe here, he's put the barracks there. And from that, he's expecting to try and take all of this land, and he set it up straight away so that he doesn't have to worry about it and nothing will get forgotten about. So that's always a good thing to not have to worry about, because, well, you need to have a lot of focus on these fights over here. And from the looks of it, he was hoping these artillery would come down and start attacking these guys, but they're not. I think he was hoping for a bit of a distraction there. I think these helicopters will be fine to take on those SAMs though, because they do a lot of damage. But they are going to take some heavy losses, and these artillery are going to try and come down through here. And those helicopters would be very useful in this area of the map. There we go, so Orbnet's pushed some units into the middle. He's going to push through now anyway. And at the same time, he is going to try and bring these units down. And trying to hit at all different directions. Now Valithor has decided to go for a defensive line here, which he maybe should have done earlier. Because now these guys, because they don't require energy, they're going to use their actual health to have dug in there. And these artillery are going to have an easier time taking them out because they've got less health. I think they take quite a while to regenerate their health as well, so that is going to be something of an issue there. Valithor does have the numbers here to be able to take on this little group because, well, the infantry aren't going to do much, but they are going to be a meat shield, while these 3 artillery now are going to be able to do that. However, these guys are coming down, so that's not going to happen anyway. Let's have a look at how he's doing that. So he sent a single line command, so they're going to spread out really far. And even if Valithor does attack this way, Orbnet's single line is actually an advantage here because he can then push through to the side. That helicopter's doing some weird acrobatics. He is a pro pilot and he's showing off in this game. Valithor has built an energy well here at probably what's the worst time to do so. He's gone with another airfield though, so he's got 2 airfields down here. And it doesn't look like he could have built an energy well anywhere else. But he could have claimed this one, maybe just with a bit of preemptive thought there. So he's going to try and have some units here, and he's going to bring some units around here to protect the SAM units. But I'm not sure that's going to be enough at this point. Orbnet has the advantage here with numbers, and the SAMs are being pushed at the back, so they will protect from these strikers coming in now. But I think Orbnet is going to focus on protecting this sort of area. They're going to come in and start taking stuff out en route to this area. So he's changed it to a blue command so they don't go into the firing line of the SAM units. Unfortunately, those 2 are going to fly straight over those SAM units, and one's going to take a lot of damage in doing so. Once they've reached this target, though, they are going to stray off and try and take on the front line. And I think that is going to help save Valithor in this little scenario. So the pressure is on, but Valithor seems to be having this little curve going on. It looks like Orbnet has lost most of his frontline artillery, which Valithor still has. He's going to be able to clear up most of these stragglers now. As long as he can protect himself against these helicopters anyway, because he has no SAM in this area anymore. It looks like they all got destroyed, which is very unfortunate for Valithor, because Orbnet is now going to be able to protect his units with his helicopters. And to stop Orbnet, Valithor has a plan. He is sending his strikers in behind this front line. These SAMs aren't going to be able to do anything because it's going to be across the water. He's going to have to bring them back quite a bit to be able to protect that area. Oh, I say that too soon. He's actually changed his mind. He's going to bring them up through this area. And he's going to have them go this way. And they're going to come into this area to try and take out some units before they can even get into the front lines. Let's have a look from Orbnet's point of view as these strikers come in. So he hasn't spotted them yet. If he had, his SAM units would probably be moving, but let's have a quick look at how far he's got. We can see the strikers coming in now. He's really expanded in this map. He's going to come towards Valithor down at the bottom here. And these strikers have pretty much free reign over these artillery right now. And I think they're going to get rid of 2 of them. Certainly heavily damaged 2 of the others there. There you go, he's got rid of 2. This one's going to go down as well. The SAM are not going to be able to get there in time, but this one's flying directly over them, which is unfortunate. But the same thing is happening to Valithor, where he's got these artillery units exposed. But he's trying to bring the artillery in to take out the SAM units, which is unfortunately for Valithor not working. However, in the north, it looks like Orbnet is sorting out his economy. He has a town. He's got another town and some industries building up. His barracks over here is still expanding. All the territories up here. And it looks like Orbnet is not slowing down and has a massive potential to gain in this game when it comes to economy. Whereas Valithor is pretty much at his potential and is now having to fight for more territory. And they have had the engagement here in the forest here. You can see those units fighting to see who's going to come out on top in this location as well. And if Valithor can push through here, he's going to have significantly increased his chances of winning in this game. The advantage of having controlled over everything you've got, it means you don't have to focus on it anymore. All your units can be on the front line. These strikers are coming in at this area and they're trying to take out the energy and the airfield. And that would be a great advantage for Valithor if he could do that. Fortunately for Orbnet though, he has helicopters which don't require the airfield to stay alive. Any other unit would destroy at the airfield or would fly off and explode randomly. Both players seem to have pretty much destroyed each other's armies in this lake battlefield area here. I think Valithor has called off the attacks on this area, but he has got his aircraft going down here because those helicopters won't be able to reach him and the SAM are way out of place. So these strikers are going to be able to control this area pretty well, like I said earlier on in this game. And he is dedicated to going air units. He has got 4 airfields all producing strikers. Well, I assume this one will do when it's built. And I think Orbnet is very well aware that he's gone with strikers, but I don't know if he knows how dedicated he is to them. He is trying to take out any units that are strayed out. He's making sure that he's taken up any opportunity presented to him. And it must be really windy because that just went really weird smoke. There we go. So down in this section now, he's put his units in the mountains so they can't really be spotted, but Valithor has free reign to come over this way now. There isn't really much to stop him. Orbnet is trying to do something about that, and with the upgrades, let's have a look at their economy, because Orbnet has been trying to work on his economy for a while. He has 1,100 per minute, and Valithor has 780 per minute. So, if Valithor can't make good trades in this game, he is going to start falling behind very fast. But these strikers might be all he needs to do so. I think Orbnet does have a good idea that he's going for a lot of air units and is not going to waste money, or is not going to leave that out as an option because he's got a lot of SAM units there. Valithor is trying to take the opportunity to go up north and try and take some territory away from Orbnet rather than trying to attack his base. Don't even know if he's got anything there. He does not. He's going to focus all his units coming down this way. So he doesn't see the units sneaking up here. When he does, it might be a little too late for him to respond to it. And not only has he gone for these SAM units quite a lot, he's got into interceptors, which will be great at intercepting the aircraft that he has to deal with. So he has spotted some units straying up here. Is he going to respond to that, or is he just going to let them walk around? Looks like he's not too worried about it yet. But he's got a lot of commanders walking around up here. He's got some commanders up in the mountains there for no reason. He might pull those back when he spots this. He's obviously forgotten about them after setting these lines up and not having to worry about it. He has spotted it. He's going to send his helicopters straight over there and some artillery to support that. But I think Orbnet's more concerned about him coming this way towards his main section of the base. However, that is not Valithor's plan. He is going straight up north and he might be able to destroy this barracks if those helicopters do not do enough damage in time, and these strikers have built up in numbers. And they've come over to try and fight this section. It's a good job he didn't send his interceptors that way as well. So he left them there. And that might actually seriously help him in this situation. But it is not enough interceptors. Those SAM units didn't last long either. So maybe I was wrong. Maybe you definitely need a lot more SAM units. But I wasn't expecting this many strikers so fast either. And they tore up everything in this area as well. Those strikers are going to be very effective at clearing up Orbnet's units on the ground. Right, so let's have a look at Valithor. Now, how is he going to command these strikers now that he has a lot of them? So down in this area we've got a lot of infantry coming in, and it looks like there's only really one barracks in this area. He knows he's needing more energy, so he's built a lot of energy wells. And as these units come back in, he's trying to take out some infrastructure here, so he's got the energy well he's going to go for. These SAM units will not have built up in enough numbers just yet, but he has retreated. He's going to hope that his ground forces take this out more so than his strikers. I'm not sure what his plan is to go next though. So he wanted his ground units to be there a bit closer to the battlefield. He's going to send his strikers in alongside them in two different sections. They're going to be thinned out a bit, which might actually be a wise thing to do considering how many he's got. We have 3 artillery versus 3 artillery, and the new ones unloading at about the same time. Those strikers are going to try and destroy absolutely everything here. So despite Orbnet having a much greater economy here, Valithor is taking really good trades with these strikers. Except 2 went down then, but he's got a lot of interceptors to fight against right now. And these SAM units are going to do a lot of damage. He probably should have relied more on his ground force in this section, and then retreated his strikers when the interceptors came up. But we've got some strikers coming back now. They're all coming back now. Down in this section, Valithor is advancing, and he's going to be able to try and take this section out. He's going to try and push through the main area first. Those interceptors are going to be a pain in the ass when it comes to these SAM units for Orbnet to try and handle, because as soon as they take off, they're going to have to worry about these SAM units. And it looks like we've got an airstrip coming in from Valithor to try and get a bit closer. So he knows he's got the advantage now. He knows he's got to keep up a lot of pressure. Orbnet has sent in some sneaky helicopters over here to try and take out this energy well, but I just don't really think that's going to be enough damage. But you've got to take anything you can get at this point in the game. These strikers are going to end up coming down here next, trying to take out as much before anything can build up enough SAM units to cause enough damage. Let's have a look from Orbnet's side of things, because Orbnet has a lot of income. He's got 1,400 per minute, and Valithor has 900, so he is actually pushing hard against Orbnet. But Orbnet seems to have built a lot of factories in this section of the map, somewhere new, somewhere the strikers haven't been yet. And I believe this is mostly to focus on increasing his numbers behind the back of Valithor. He's not going to be able to hold this area long, not without reinforcements. Because a single produced SAM unit over here, or 2 at the same time, is not going to be enough to handle these strikers. As soon as that SAM unit's gone, the structures are going to go soon after. Over here we got a lot of commandos sneaking down. I assume those were from the mountain. I don't need to switch to him. So I assume those were, yeah, from up here. He's bringing them back now. And they're going to try and sneak through this area and trying to get to the back of Valithor's base, but I don't think it's going to be successful. Definitely going to get spotted here. And they probably shouldn't be on flag commands. They should be on arrow commands, most likely. Unless Orbnet's plan was more to capture and he's just using what he has. Those strikers have decimated this base down here. So Orbnet is now majorly on the defensive, trying to find a way back in. trying to deal with these strikers. Now let's have a look how far he's captured. Has he captured everything yet? Not quite. He's still got a few bits to capture. But he has pretty much ecoed up on every spot that he possibly can. He's even got a trade route. So he's got these sections coming in here, and this trade route will massively boost his economy. Which I'm not even sure he really needed in the first place. He's got 1,500 per minute, and Valithor is at 900 per minute. So he's at about a 50% increase. Valithor has sent his strikers over here. He's got 2 airstrips here, so he's got more spaces for strikers as well as more reach. He has spotted this area where he was trying to build his factories in, and these strikers are going to do as much damage as they can. Don't know how long these strikers are going to hold out against these growing number of interceptors and Orbnet switching to pretty much just SAM units. Even here, I think this is not a great idea from Valithor. There's a lot of SAM backing up these artillery. And strikers naturally come in pretty much one at a time. And this is not going to be very good for Valithor. Not the trades here. He's going to lose a lot to the interceptors and the SAM on the ground. And the artillery on the ground are pretty much just acting as meat shields for the strikers' damage output. It looks like Valithor is still going to dedicate to this section. I think this is mostly due to concern about this army reaching his base. And he might have just been better off slowing it down with infantry rather than trying to dedicate so many air units, which he's now practically lost most of. And he does have a good advantage up here. I don't think this army is going to be big enough to effectively destroy all the production here, but at the same time it might be able to do enough damage to Valithor in the long run. And unfortunately it looks like Valithor is going to lose these airstrips in the mountains here. He's got his strikers coming back in, but I think again he's going to take a lot of bad trades for this. Over in this section of the map, though, the army is pushing on through the base, and his reinforcements have been cut off by some commandos, but they are going to get shot at. They are not going to be stealthy enough to hide away long enough to get some free damage. But it looks like Valithor's got some infantry trying to sneak around. He spotted the artillery here, knows he can't base that, so he's trying to sneak around while Orbnet is distracted in different locations. And for now, this airstrip is still standing, but he is being fired at by a lot of units. Not too many, they are getting distracted, and the strikers have destroyed the SAM here, so they might be able to tear through this bit on their next return, but I don't think it's going to be quick enough to save that airstrip. And these commandos and infantry here are not actually being too effective at killing these units, but they are stopping the reinforcements from getting to this location. Meaning that Orbnet will be able to destroy these units here if Valithor doesn't retreat them. There we go, we've got the strikers coming back in now, the infantry are holding back the artillery. And they will be able to take them out at this point. The infantry are trying to spread out as far as they can, trying to get to key locations. Looks like these infantry are targeting this city here, the town, sorry. And now that Orbnet has destroyed this location of units, notice he's bringing his infantry back here. He no longer needs to hold the artillery back here. So he did that on purpose. He was holding these reinforcements back, even though he knew he was taking bad trades. And it was probably worth it in the long run. However, he now has to do the same over here, and he doesn't have the infantry to hold them back, so he's going to have to use his force. Not that they are artillery anyway, so it wouldn't matter too much. He's got his helicopters going straight in to stop the production of these artillery and SAM units. But they have been met with a lot of SAM units themselves, and that is going to be a lot of damage. Will they be able to fire again? They will. But it's not enough to take it out, so that helicopter will survive. And as time goes on, Orbnet is building a city over here. He is waiting for the long run of this game. He is in for it for a very long time, and he has enough capital behind him to be able to build enough of this eco and be able to hold back Valithor at this point. Valithor is being very offensive, and he's doing it pretty well. But Orbnet is holding the line just enough and not allowing Valithor to get any further. These strikers have been an absolutely great asset to have to defend this location of the map. And this front line here is a great positioning to have these there. But once their reach has been reached, they are almost useless at trying to attack. So now they can only really be used in defense until he can get a foothold with some more airstrips. And there is a rocket. I nearly missed that. This rocket is flying straight over. I'm assuming it's going to land here. It is. It's going to take out all those frontline units, including some of Orbnet's units. The Orbnet even lost some of his own units there. Orbnet is going to be building another rocket here. And Orbnet has the money, so I'm wondering, has he managed to build any more? But I'm going to assume that Orbnet's going to try and put a lot of pressure on right now, as he has just fired that rocket. I don't think it was as effective as it could have been, but at the same time, Valithor is pretty spread out, so I think that was as effective as it could have been, just not as effective as Orbnet wanted. But either way, Orbnet has managed to push back in this location here. He's cleared out most of the units. Might be some surviving down here. But he is going to be able to push back a lot in that section of the map, meaning these strikers are going to have to focus their defense in this area and up here as well. See these units coming down. Those strikers have a lot of work to do if they're going to make Valithor win this match. He's even building a town on the front lines here. And I've just spotted this. He's built a transport boat trying to sneak some units across into this little island here. So even now, Orbnet is still trying to maximize his income, which is something that Valithor potentially could have done earlier on in this game to increase his eco. And it's at this point that Valithor is trying to expand his economy with towns. I don't know if that was just a really late one and he'd been doing it all along. I'm not too sure. Right, it looks like Valithor is mostly abandoning this area, hoping the strikers will hold them off. And he's sending most of his ground forces down this way. Oh no, he switched up the line. They're going back up there. I think that might have just been a misclick. Either way, we've got a lot of battles going on here, so a lot of these strikers are going to come into this section of the map. And there is Sam in that mountain that Valithor probably can't see. There is a lot of Sam in that mountain that Valithor can't see. So we'll go back to Valithor and see when he notices those Sam units. They're coming into view right now. As they circle around, they're going to go right over that, and that might be the end of these strikers if Valithor doesn't take this line away. There you go, he's taken out 2 strikers, 3 strikers, 4, 5, maybe even more. I can't really tell anymore. He's taken the command away, so Valithor took a lot of damage in that section, that time then. And Orbnet is going to be able to push back a lot harder here now that his SAM units have taken out a lot of these strikers. Hiding them in the mountains was probably a great idea there, so Valithor didn't worry about them and not bring them in. Let's have a look at Orbnet. I don't want to miss the next nuke just in case. It's nearly done. He's got his interceptors trying to protect this area of the map, just in case the strikers try to come through here. There we go, I just heard the energy beep. That's usually a rocket. Where is this rocket going to go? So it's going straight this way. It's probably going to go into this area. And those strikers are coming up there as well. I don't know if they're going to get caught in the crossfire there. They are not, but a lot of this frontline units are going to get taken out, and that gives Orbnet more free reign over Valithor's territory. It looks like Valithor isn't going to be able to hold back on this, but Orbnet has got another rocket being built now. He's going for another one up here. He's got this one being built now. To be honest, he could probably delete this one. I don't think he's going to need it, but it might be good to keep for defense. But the amount they cost is probably not going to be beneficial. However, he does have the eco to support it, so why not? The artillery here are coming in a bit slowly. Maybe you need to retreat this section from Valithor's side of things. He does have his strikers coming here just to stop the advance of any artillery coming in, taking out as much of the front line as possible, but those SAM units are going to force Valithor to retreat and accept a loss of territory over here. So at this point in the map, we've got this line here where Orbnet has a nice line going around here, a bit like a reverse arrowhead, a concave, and these units are kind of just feeding into it, so a lot of these have their line of fire going straight into the area there, and they're going to be able to take full advantage of this. And I think Valithor has forgotten about all the SAM in this mountain here, because he is flying over once again, potentially fooled by the stealth, as his strikers are going to get taken out quite easily in this area. Again, if you retreat here, these units are going to start getting exposed on their own, and you might be able to take them out down this section, leaving the SAM behind. But not a single striker is going to make it back if he doesn't return. There we go. So we've got another one going down here. No, that one survives. I'm surprised he managed to survive. I don't know if it really swayed the battle enough. And we have missile boats coming in over here from Orbnet. Have a look at what else he's been building. He is going to expand across the water over here, taking away Valithor's land that even Valithor can't see himself, because the fog of war is over his territory. But Orbnet is doing his best to take territory away from Valithor, either without him knowing or just at any point in the game that he can. Another thing he's doing, he's got these missile ships that are being produced. They're going to come into the side and prevent those strikers coming in from any angle at this point. So these artillery are going to have to find a way to fight off Orbnet by themselves. These infantry are defending in this section of the map, but they're probably not going to be able to hold off this many artillery, which is unfortunate. And Orbnet has taken away a lot of the infrastructure that was originally in this area. Orbnet has destroyed this rocket, as I thought he might. It's always good to keep it for a while, I guess. Especially when you've got the economy to do it and you don't have to worry too much. And at this point in the game, Orbnet has 2,200 per minute. And the end of the match has been reached. Valithor has given up. So, Orbnet will be moving on to the next round. We are on round 3 right now. There is one match coming out tomorrow from round 3. After that, it's the semi-finals. I think one other match, then the losers round, and then the loser will fight the winner from the winners round. If you know what I mean. So, if you have any questions, feel free to let me know in the comments below. There are 2 videos on screen right now. Feel free to pick one and I'll see you there. Thanks for watching.